Hey guys, this is Nick Johnston, and you're reading Truth in Shredding. Wait, Laurie Monk's Truth in Shredding?
Yeah, do it again.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Nick Johnston, and you're reading Laurie Monk's Truth in Shredding. Sorry if I refer to my coffee.
This is Mike Blackburn sitting here in beautiful Guelph, Ontario with Nick Johnston, guitarist extraordinaire, Canadian. And we're doing this interview for loudguitars.com as well as for Laurie Monk's Truth in Shredding. Hello, Laurie.
Hey, Laurie.
So, Nick, let's go way back to the beginning. You're a local boy from around Guelph here. What was your introduction to the guitar? How did that come about? Were you in a musical family? What was the first guitar you laid eyes on, and how did that translate into wanting to learn the guitar?
Right. Yeah, good question. So to answer one of those questions, no, I do not come from a musical family. I'll avoid touching the table for the sake of the tripod. No, I do not come from a musical family. I do not come from an artistic family of any origin, whether it's art, music, acting, nothing. It was a very much well, my dad's a truck driver and my mom works in the kind of cosmetic industry, so yeah, not a lot of time for music. But I grew up in a house that had a constant supply of classic rock, 70s progressive rock, and a weird kind of smattering of other styles of music, always playing in the house, constantly. So whether my dad was working in his shop in the basement, or cleaning, or my mom was working or making dinner or something, there was always guitar present, whether it was Led Zeppelin or a lot of Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath. Yes. King Crimson. What was another one we listened to? A lot of. Do you remember Martin McKendelssohn mainline, or McKendelssohn?
Yeah, I know who you're speaking of.
With the mainline at the end. Anyways, this Toronto kind of rock blues band. Anyway, so the guitar was very present in terms of a band, but never the actual instrument itself. So I always had this thing of a guitar being like this top tier, this tool that only professionals could handle. When I was about 7 or 8, I think I asked for a guitar, but being left-handed, my parents just had no idea where they would find a left-handed guitar, so it kind of just went into the background and just kind of, was passive for a long time. Then years later, there was a guy who moved in beside me. He was 14, I was 13, and between 13 and 14, that's a huge age gap, because he was in high school, I was still in grade school. He had a bit of he had some facial hair, I was 13, I thought he was really cool, he had a different group of friends. Anyways, one day I heard him playing guitar in his basement, and at some point I worked up enough courage to go over and, can I come down and watch you play guitar? And then from there, that was kind of it. I proceeded to beg for a used Squier Bullet I had, 2001 or 2000, and I quit playing hockey, and all I did was play guitar. And I developed a different group of friends, and played with people, and got better, and spent more time playing guitar indoors than being outside playing sports.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you didn't take too many formal lessons, that you did it all on your own.
Yeah, it was all, yeah.
You sat with records, you jammed with your buddies, that was the way you learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've developed your own kind of unique style.
Thank you.
I don't know, how to classify it. I almost call it like a glissando style. Like a glissando is a musical term that talks about liquid flow of notes. And that's what I get when I listen to you. I get a lot of that.
Thanks, man.
So when you were first starting out, I mean, what was the order of priorities for you? Because you love video games and you love comics. That's pretty evident, as well as Japanese anime, I guess. So where did guitar slot in initially amongst those things? And it's amazing how you've come full circle and been able to incorporate kind of all of those things into your career.
Very important, yeah. That's it, man. I've never been asked anything like that. That's a good one. I think it's kind of been the same since the inception of me playing guitar. So 14, I'm 29 now, so 15 years. I've always tried to surround myself with stuff that makes me feel creative and keeps my brain dewy, so to speak, mossy. Whether it's books or, like you said, comic books, video games, TV, movies, so on and so forth. The guitar was a very obsessive, almost obelisk-like thing that I kind of worshipped it. Like, I would think about the guitar, I'd see the guitar, and I would just kind of be like, and I would put my hours in every day, 6, 7, 8 hours every day, in groups of 2 hours. Always groups. It was I had this very weird, almost like ritualistic, almost like religious-like approach to it. It was like I had to get 2 hours in here, and I had to take some time away, 2 hours in again, 2 hours in again, and if you don't get your 7th hour in, then you can't go to bed tonight. It was just like this weird. So it was like that, but anytime I wasn't playing, I was doing stuff. I'd play video games, or I'd be hanging out with my buddies, we'd be talking about guitar, or basically I spent a lot of time either alone or with people playing guitar. It was a really bizarre. I think back on all of it, it was just like, man, just a blur of playing guitar. But there was a balance of me, having developed a relatively normal social life, but the guitar overshadowed everything. Completely overshadowed it. And, could I be better? Could I have probably learned quicker and developed more if I had better instruction? Probably, but I don't know if I'd be, who I am.
As an individual.
Yeah.
So during those times, were your thoughts more towards gravitating towards a band, or did you already have a thought that, I like these guys are kind of solo artists, that's the way I'd like to go, I'd like to write my own music and perform my own music?
Right. You know what, I never had a thought about any of that. I still don't. I never thought about myself as a career musician, as a musician, as someone who made money playing music, or how to take the guitar from me being in love with it in my bedroom beyond that. It was never beyond just pure passion for playing guitar. And at some point I just started writing a lot of music because I feel like that's kind of the natural evolution of playing an instrument. You want to, for me anyways, I wanted to have some sort of creative outlet, whether it was, can I do this, or I hear other people doing this, why don't I try and do it? Even now, I think about what the hell is a musician? Like, I actually don't know the answer to that, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year or the year after that, but I know it will involve a guitar.
And so you cobble together a bunch of songs, and then you take that next big step to recording your first record,
right,
which is totally self-produced and totally self-funded, financed, the whole shebang.
Absolutely.
That was, I don't know what age you were at that time.
I was 20, when I finished writing all that music, I think I was 23.
So, what made you take that ginormous step forward, and where did you get the balls to ask some of the guys you asked if they would contribute to your record?
Yeah. Well, I'd been writing, so by the time I started writing music, seriously, like really just spending all my time writing and playing and getting better at that kind of side of it, I was like 16, 17, been playing for about 4 years at that point. By the time I felt like I had enough to say, I guess, or an evolution in my playing where the melody and song structure was I felt refined enough. It was 7 or 8 years, and that was hundreds of horrible songs boiled down to 10 that I thought said something about the player I was at the time. That, coupled with all the stress of trying to fund it, I mean, it was self-inflicted stress because there was no interest. I had no fans. I had no rollout schedule. I had no shows booked. You know what I mean? Like, everything was... But it was just that kind of drive that I had. The first record, I didn't have... I mean, I had a friend of mine who I liked his drumming, a guy named Travis Orban from the States. I just emailed him. I like what you're doing. Check out some of this music. Do you like what I'm doing? Maybe we can figure it out. And that record came out in 2011. And you know, when you say what made you take that first step, curiosity. It was 100%. Can I do this? And it was also like, if I want to do this more, if I want to have more records, and if I want to have kind of like that next step, you have to learn how to make a record. Like, it's not just writing music and releasing it. There's so many fine points in between it. Like, just how are you in the studio? Are your songs good enough? Do they actually make sense to put on a record? If you're self-promoting it, what comes after recording that final note? You know, there's that whole neutral, like, blank zone where you don't know what the hell to do between writing the music, releasing it, and then the next one. There's that whole thing. So I had to learn all about that. And then, like I said, it came out, and if nobody cared, nobody bought it, and I never expect people to care because music owes me nothing. But after it came out, I learned that kind of lesson, I guess, that you gotta keep working your ass off. So I continued to write more music, and continued to release music.
So here's the trick question, pun intended.
Oh my God!
How did you get Paul to partake in that track?
How did I get Paul Gilbert to play on my second album when I had no fans, no resume? I held a gun to his... No, you know what, honestly, I had his email. When was that? Okay, so when I had him, when he played on the record, it was 2012 or 13. I had his email, and I emailed him, and I said, been a fan for a while. Actually, Guthrie Govan was going to play on the record at this point too, and I knew someone that had booked him at a festival. I was really good friends with this guy. I said, hey, you know, I saw Guthrie play at your festival. Like, do you know him? Like, can you put me in touch with him? And he did, and I sent Guthrie a track from the first record.
That means you have to pay for it now.
That's fine.
Okay.
I talked to him and lost my train of thought there. Sorry. I talked to him and
Guthrie.
He put me in touch. Yeah, he put me in touch with him. I sent him a song off the first album. Guthrie really liked it, and he said he'd play on the record. And this was again 5-6 years ago. So. Absolutely. And then basically, you know, all these guys know each other, right? That's the thing. It's like everybody of that. I don't want to say caliber, but of that, because you know, doesn't mean you can't know someone if you're not an amazing player. It's more like those circles, those working musicians, those guys. They all know each other, and they know everything. They know who they've worked with. So I said to Paul, like, hey, I'm doing this record with Guthrie. He's playing on track. Do you want to play on track? And I sent him the song. And he's like, yeah, I love the song. I'll play on it. It was as simple as that. Here's the crazy thing that I learned too, early on in this kind of career, or whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with how good of a player you are. These guys, I mean, Paul Gilbert and Guthrie Govan can literally play anything. They can play anything. They can play anything they want, they can play anything they want, and they can play it better than you can play it. So if you say, here's this song, sorry if I refer to my coffee.
This is Mike Blackburn sitting here in beautiful Guelph, Ontario with Nick Johnston.
Guthrie, like, they can play anything they want. So if you send them music, or if you want to work with them and you're doing all this crazy stuff and there's no musicality to it, there's no melody and there's no harmony to it, they're going to be like, it's just, why would I want to, you know, I can do that, I've done that. So they kind of heard the musical side of it, and I guess, I don't know, maybe they saw something in the music that they wanted to support, and they were interested in playing on. Now the funny thing is, maybe that had an effect, maybe it had a bigger effect than I saw, but I'll tell you the truth, man, nobody cared. Nobody bought the record. So it's like, does that even really matter? It was more so a childhood kind of thing for me. Like, I wanted, you know, I've been listening to Paul since I was 15, so.
If your career had gone no farther, you would have at least had that.
I would have at least had that, that's right.
You know? So, you know, it's all a question of timing. I mean, when you think about it, the Aristocrats formed because Greg Howe was ill. I'm not going to go into the whole story here, but, you know, it's all a question of timing and availability. So that's how these things work.
It's true, man.
So
put yourself out there.
What's your how would you describe your writing process currently? Like, how do you go about writing something? And then number two part of that question is, how do you choose a name for what you've written?
Oh my God, yeah. How do you choose a name? I find the choosing name question is a lot more exciting than the writing question. And I'll tell you why. The writing process is such an elusive asshole. Writing music is, for me, man, personally, it can be extremely frustrating, because if I try to write music, I can't. I cannot write it. If I just play and play and play and play, then something, little seeds of an idea will be planted and something will grow. I'm currently writing number 5, and got about 6 songs done for it. And those 6 songs have been the result of a year and a half of playing guitar. I finished, so usually the way it works is I have most of an album done by the time the previous album comes out. Like, Atomic Mind was completely written and demoed when Locked Room came out, and Remarkable Human was completely written and demoed when Atomic Mind came out. This next album, because of what Remarkable Human was for me, musically and just as a person, I needed to do something radically different, which means everything about how I write, how I listen to music, how I think about music, how I play, kind of has to change. It has to, and that sucks. But unfortunately, I've released 4 albums, and I need to do something different, like totally different. So right now, the writing process is more so about how do I avoid Nick Johnston cliches, and how do I think about time, rhythm, harmony differently. The guitar playing is irrelevant. Guitar playing is totally irrelevant with how I'm writing music, because that's not the point. The point is, I want to write music that I can play on the guitar, but I don't want to write guitar music.
You've answered one of Laurie's 2 questions, which was how do you avoid becoming cliched. And I think another part of it has to do with your paradigms are changing all the time. I mean, you know, from album 1 to now, you've been around the world a couple of times. You've experienced a lot of life.
Yeah, man.
So
absolutely.
It absolutely has to impact you in some way.
Yeah, you know, and I learned a lot about just, I grew up a lot in the last 2 years. I had some health issues, and currently dealing with some of that, and it just kind of reprioritizes things a little bit. It's like, is it really important to be the best guitar player? Is it important to show off your newest licks and stuff? And for me, the answer is absolutely not, because when I listened to music, and the reason I got into music was because of music, not because of... Here's a funny thing. When I first started playing guitar, I was 14. My dad was like, come here, I want to show you a record. He had a copy of this great guitar album, which everybody knows. I'll reveal the name in 1 second. And he goes, listen to this song, let me know what you think. I think it's really cool. You'll like it. So he plays me Flying in a Blue Dream, and I hated it. I was like, where's the vocals? I don't understand. And I was playing guitar at this point. Like, I don't get it. Which, to me, I mean, that's Flying in Blue Dream. It's a classic instrumental, half instrumental kind of vocal record. what it was saying, what that says to me now is I didn't care about guitar, like flash and technique, and it was just about music. You know, I wasn't ready for instrumental music back then. It was just, I want to hear music. I don't care what style it is. I don't care what the instrument is. I don't care how good the person's playing it, but if it's good music, it's good music. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our connection here. We both live in this part of Ontario.
Yeah.
And I first became aware of you through a mutual friend, Derek Sharp.
Derek, yeah.
Derek was telling me this young kid is playing acoustic solo sets over at Ray's Fine Bakery in Alton, which is, you know, a walk down the street from Derek's place.
Yeah.
He says, you got to come out and see him sometime. Well, either the fact that you stopped going there or Derek was traveling so much and doing his own gigs, that never happened.
Right.
But I did chance upon you in the bandstand in beautiful Erin, Ontario.
Oh my God, that's
you
right.
played some summer barbecue festival
right,
thing.
the Rhythm and
there was
Rips.
like about 5 people watching. So
Yeah, and this wasn't that long ago, by the way.
you had a rhythm guitar player with you.
Dave, yes, I hung out with him last night.
Yes, so that was my introduction to you, and then subsequent to that, it was NAMM. Where during all of this time frame did you land your first endorsement, which I guess was Seymour, was first for you? And because that's the first time I saw you at NAMM, it was for Seymour Duncan.
Yeah, so let's talk about the bandstand thing for a second. The crazy thing is, that wasn't that long ago.
I got video.
Absolutely, so do I. I mean, I've had such a slow build in this industry. I mean, I've been trying to do this on some level since, you know, I was 18. It's 11 years ago. It's been so. I mean, there are times it's felt like that, but it's been so slow and so dry that any kind of like little bit of, you know, success or any accomplishment that I get, it just doesn't. It's so weird. It's like, you know, people. Actually, it was funny. Last night I had someone pulled over on the side of the road. I was walking down the street to get some milk, and someone pulled over on the side of the road, and he was a huge fan, and he like got out of the car and wanted to take like selfies and stuff with me. It's like, it's so bizarre to me because there was nothing for so many years, and then this, like, you know, when I'm 25, I'm playing at a barbecue festival, and I'm playing in front of 5 people, and I have 2 albums out. It's like, is this really, you know, what the hell? Anyways, that wasn't that long ago. So from there, I'd released the first album, and I actually got in touch with. We became friends. Rob Chapman, back in 2011. He loved the song "Public Display of Affection." He was just like, "This is such a great instrumental song." And this was back when Rob was just kind of, you know, getting started. If we were to relate it to subscribership, he had like 40,000 subscribers back then. So he was just kind of getting started. So we became really good friends, and we used to talk, Skype all the time. And he actually introduced me to a woman named Elaine, who was artist relations at Dario UK. They're like, "Why are we talking to you? Let's talk. You to talk to Dario Canada." So they put me in touch with the guys at Dario Canada, and you know, and we still have a really good relationship. From there, that was my first endorsement, I think, and that was 2011, 2012. Very humble though, like they were just like, "Yeah, we want to just see where you go. We'll start working together. Let's build a relationship." Okay, then I started talking a lot with Keith Merrow. He liked what I was doing. I liked what he does and all that good stuff. And we just became like internet friends. We'd correspond all the time. And then he's like, "Are you using any pickups? Let's be in touch with Duncan, see if you guys can do something." And then the guy at the time who was doing the AR articulation there was a guy named Craig Costigan. Great guy, really just like super friendly guy. I don't think he's working there anymore. Super friendly guy. He was really liking what I did, and he's come down to NAMM and play guitar. And again, it was just like, okay, what do I do? Like, I had never done anything like that. My career, playing in front of people, all that good stuff was non-existent. So, and this again was not that long ago. So I flew down there and did that, and then from there, Keith was like, you know, are you working with a guitar company? And I wasn't. I had some talks with a bunch of different people, but nothing really panned out. And then he checked out Schecter, and here we are.
There you are. I'm going to have to ask you the other Lori question before I forget it.
Sure.
And Lori says, this is Lori's words, like Pliny, it's great to see so-called bedroom guitarists get out into the real world. What are tips for making that transition? How hard is the work, and what kind of connections do you need to make it?
Well, you know, I guess it looks that way, but it is what it is. But I don't consider myself so much a bedroom guitar player, because when I was 19, and this is 10 years ago now, 19 or 20, I was actually playing in a touring band. I was semi or professional, whatever you want to call it, musician touring, in an acoustic world music band. We 100, 150 gigs a year kind of thing. What people see is a lot of people see now, because I'm part of this instrumental movement, this like modern thing, I get lumped in with that. Oh, you started in your bedroom, and then the last couple of years it's been such a slow thing for 10 years that people, you know, people don't see that. So when you say that, it's like, it's good to see bedroom guitar player take it up to the real world. What do you do there? I mean, it's like, I don't know, because it's been so long that I don't know. I've been grinding my ass off for decades. That I think back to that. I think the only thing you can do is you just have to work hard. You can't spend your time watching guitar videos. You can't spend your time on Facebook. You just have to go out and you got to do stuff.
I think it's fantastic that you got that experience playing with a band and doing that many gigs, because too many of the current bedroom guitarists, they do all their learning with a metronome or in on the corner of their bed.
Yeah.
Then you put them at volume standing up in front of an audience, and it's a totally different ballgame.
Yes, it is. It is very much a different world, and if you're already successful and famous at that point, and you go to start playing gigs, and I mean, it's a rough start. I mean, people see it's like, well, maybe this guy isn't as prepared for, and it has nothing to do with are you a good player. I mean, being a good player it helps, but you know, practice. Everyone has the potential to be a good player. It's just like, it's more so, do you have the musical context? I listened to so much music for so long. I played with really great players for so long that, you know, how do you react live? How do you handle something in a jam? How do you support a melody? What harmony are you using? All these things. That's the kind of thing you can't get in your bedroom. It's just like musical context. I know that's a weird thing. That's a weird concept, but I really, really believe that.
Okay, so thanks very much. I got one last question for you. At this point in time, what percentage of your income still comes from teaching?
Zero.
Zero now,
Yeah,
eh?
zero.
Then
I don't teach anymore yet.
Since how long?
Probably since the new album, when Remarkable Human came out. I decided That's it. I'm gonna. Many times in my life, in the past 6 years or so, I've done this eggs in one basket kind of thing. I was teaching fully, like 40 hours a week when I graduated high school from about 20 to 23, 24. Fully teaching and gigging with this. So the band I took, this guy I played with, he owned the store, and he was doing a lot of stuff. He was like, I need you to, the other guitar player left, I need you to fill in. So it was kind of like this teacher by day, musician by night kind of thing. It was fantastic. It was amazing. For years it worked. Then I said I want to do my own thing, and he started going like, well, if you can't do both, like there's not enough time. So I'm like, eggs in one basket. I'm gonna do my own thing. It's a risk. I need more time to work on my music. I'm gonna quit my job. I still lived at home. Put everything on my credit card. Then it went okay. I'm gonna put, for example, this was Atomic Mind. I'm gonna put everything into this record and see what happens. Okay, I need to teach to support.
Yep.
Now it's like Remarkable Human came out. I'm touring a lot. I'm traveling. It's got to be all in, and that's where we are.
And with some of that touring, we're going to see you in the not too distant future at the Guitar Shop. My good buddies.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your text. Yeah,
they run that place. It's a fantastic place.
It looks cool. Yeah. So I'll be there doing a clinic for me.
And I guess the young lady from Seymour will be there too. What's her name? Martina or Martina?
Oh my gosh, she'll be there.
Yeah, I met her.
She's great. What's her last name? Martina.
It's a double last name.
Yeah.
I just met her at last weekend.
She's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that she did the ghostwriting for Lita Ford's book.
Yes,
the biography.
She's an English teacher too, I think.
I guess so.
In Toronto,
write that well. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Over and out.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
From beautiful Guelph, Ontario. Cheers.